2024 edition of Toronto Comicon took place from March 14th to 16th at the Metro Toronto Convention Centre. Attractions included a meet and greet with Arthur and DW at the RetroKid booth. Along with the usual anime-themed cars on display, there were photo ops with the 1967 Chevrolet Impala from the TV show Supernatural. I spent most of the first day of the convention walking around the show floor and taking a look at the various stalls and booths. The first panel I attended was An Elegant Weapon Live with host J.M. Clark and a very special guest.
My guest today, ladies and gentlemen, is the Academy Award-winning set decorator of Star Wars A New Hope, Roger Christian.
The story of King Arthur, which was a favourite of mine growing up, its Excalibur is the icon of that whole, you remember that's the mystical power, and I thought, boy, if this lightsaber, which none of us knew what it was or what it could be, worked, then it would be the icon of this movie.
Day one ended with the first of 3 panels for the boys with actors Colby, Minifie, and Valorie Curry.
You're the first panel. Have we been treating you well so far?
Yes.
Make sure you're welcome, all that goodness?
Yes.
Good.
I mean, I'm getting deja vu right now because the last time I was sitting in this exact chair, maybe, was 2 years ago here.
Wow.
And it's like a whole team of people, and I was like so intimidated. It was crazy.
Intimidated? You intimidating?
Oh my God, are you kidding?
I refuse to believe. Valerie, what about you? Have you been good?
Oh, today has been awesome. Everyone's been lovely. It's been such a great kickoff to the weekend, and it's just so nice to get to do this in Toronto because this is where we make the show.
Yes.
Day 2 began with Homelander himself, Antony Starr, thanking his stuntman.
The guy responsible for one of the best elements in our show, which is the stunt coordinating. He's a fucking wizard, makes everyone look good. And he's very humble and very shy, so we're gonna leave him here.
After dealing with the Saturday crowds and grabbing a placeholder ticket for the Daredevil Born Again t-shirt booth, I proceeded to my next panel with some of the cast members of Supernatural with a very important message from Jim Beaver.
Elbows up, idiots. How has the weekend been for you so far?
It's been great. It's been amazing to see so many people. Thank you so much for coming out.
I'm feeling horrible.
Next panel was with X-Men voice actor George Buza.
Were you a fan or even aware much of the X-Men as a comic book series?
When I first saw the sides to read for this project, which they called Project X, I said, they've given away half the title. Because I immediately knew, I said, Project X, my foot. This is X-Men. Yes! Because I remember when X-Men #1 came out in 1962 or 1963. And it was right beside the copy of the Superman comic, which I bought every week. And I went, oh, this is interesting. I wonder what this is. So I was very familiar with X-Men. And the idea that they were going to make it into an animated series, and that I had a shot at a part in it, became a very, very important facet of that day.
Absolutely.
Because this was like a fulfillment of a fantasy that I had when I was a kid. Because what kid didn't want to be a superhero? What kid that didn't get bullied in school didn't want to be a superhero that he could defend himself and have superpowers over all those people that did him bad? So the idea of being an adult and being able to be Hank McCoy and having learned all those lessons of being bullied and how to deal with it, and to be able to manifest them in a character was probably one of the greatest gifts of my career.
Day 2 concluded with a live edition of Bootleg Safari with film critic and programmer Norm Wilner as the guest.
My name's Norm Wilner. I used to be a film critic, now I'm a film programmer. I worked at TIFF for the last 3 festivals. Before that, I wrote for Nail Magazine. Before the sadness that overcame that beautiful, beautiful newspaper. And I also have a podcast called Someone Else's Movie, where I talk to filmmakers about movies that they love, but that they have no professional interest in. So they basically just get to Like Adam McGoyan gets to talk about how much he loves Jesus Christ Superstar, which is a really fun episode.
Main stage was packed on Sunday morning for a supernatural panel with Jared Padalecki and Mark Sheppard.
All the love to Mr. Mark Sheppard!
Good morning.
Hey guys, you ever seen back? Yeah? That's about it. So these people have been here since Tuesday.
They must have thought it was a different Mark. Just kidding. I love him.
They were cheating Sheppard earlier.
10:34.
So
It starts.
I went outside of my normal all black because I was in New York with Jen and Tom this last week. And Tom has this in white, and we ended up going to a shoe store in New York, and they had the same sweater. So he's like, I'm gonna start sweating. So I'm gonna be like 40 pounds by the end of this talk.
Even though I got a placeholder ticket on day 2, it was not until Sunday afternoon when I was finally able to get into the Daredevil Born Again booth and design my custom spray-painted t-shirt. It wasn't very creative. I then proceeded straight to the panel for Star Wars The Acolyte actor Manny Jacinto.
Are you familiar with the universe? How did you prep for it, and were you nervous about going in?
100% nervous because it's such a huge fandom. In terms of preparation, I was like, yeah, let's dive in, let's watch all the... I was a huge fan beforehand, but I was like, okay, let's do all the research, let's watch, everything from the Phantom Menace on. But then, as I got into it, I was like, we're 100 years before, they're new characters, maybe I shouldn't, dive into all these characters that kind of just make it my own. And also, yeah, it's a lot, it's a lot to kind of digest, and I didn't have too much time, but yeah, I kind of just put my own kind of spin, or like, with Leslie and with like vocal coaches and movement coaches and our stunt team, we just took a risk and kind of made it what it is, and I'm super proud of it.
The final panel was with the cast of The Boys, but for some reason photos and videos were not allowed, except for the official photos taken by the convention's photographers, which showed that Antony Starr and Jessica Usher crashed the panel. I spent the rest of day 3 doing one last walk around the show floor to try and catch anything that I might have missed in the previous 2 days. And that concludes my rundown of the 2025 Toronto Comicon. We'll be back to cover Fan Expo Canada from August 21st to 24th. See you then.